All right, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back from a kind of a bit of a choppy weekend that brought some stability to the markets and also showed some strength in some other areas. BTC here, not too bad. We ended up, here's my 2 hour chart on the left. We ended up throwing kind of a cup and handle here off of some really great volume that was thrown on Friday. Cup and handle here. And then we did pull all the way back. So this was kind of a failed cup and handle, but then it started to work a little bit. So that high was taken out. Pretty good volume here, not amazing, but pretty good for a Saturday, and then actually a Sunday, and then you end up with a pullback here overnight into this morning, and trying to rally back on through. So Bitcoin's stable. The main thing here for me is this trend line on the 2 hour and also on this daily time frame right here. As long as this holds up, I think we could be in a good spot. As long as it holds up, I think that's the key right now. We do have some divergences on the 2 hour RSI, and so that could lead us to stalling pressure where our momentum wanes because our volume isn't very heavy. But going into a Monday, maybe it'll get bigger and provide a boost upward that we may need right now. So at the same time, we have another high here at the 71,970. If that's broken, that could provide a really good boost to the upside. Okay, this is larger, what's traditionally called the double bottom base, and it looks like a pretty decent one as a matter of fact. So hopefully we can get if we get going on that, I think that could spark the next big Bitcoin rally. Okay, so I think that's really right now what to look for. All this other stuff is small potatoes in comparison to that, and we're not too far from that line, which is right there. So we're really not that far away. The question is, are we going to base into it like we did here, and this one failed? Are we going to base into it again and then try to go, or are we just going to launch up from something? Now, one thing I didn't say earlier in my other show, this is kind of a bit of a rising wedge situation right here. So if you're watching from my other channel, um, I didn't mention this, but I did think about it. So rising wedge, we do see these from time to time, okay? Get a rising wedge and then boom, you get a blast off through the top. So we'll have to wait for that scenario. I don't know. It's not something that I think you can call necessarily, and usually don't see it in these situations. Usually you'll see this kind of rising wedge situation in a high. So you'll go in a high, it'll pop up, you'll see a rising wedge, then you'll see an additional blast off, okay? So I'm not so sure what we're going to get here with this one, but there's a possibility for that to blast up out of this um, as it looks okay. It doesn't look bad. Even with the divergences here, is this squeeze is higher, this squeeze is lower. Good blast off will blow away any divergence that this has. Another thing you can do too is use RSI trend lines, which I really can't do at the moment due to the my thing is so tight there. But use an RSI trend line. If you start breaking through that, that could bring in some buyers as well. All right, on to our top hot coins of the day. You got Dog with Hat, which I'm getting better at pronouncing. Pretty good run here from the bottom all the way up into this trend line. Uh, Almost solid green days here. You only have one red day here in probably almost 10 days. So doing pretty good here. Managing to get higher. Looking like it's kind of working its way up in some kind of a not quite a frozen rope pattern, but something like that. A little bit of a wedge shape to it, slightly, but not too bad. That starts to break out. That could move up. The market here does look pretty good. We're still in an uptrend. Remember, we had our follow through day, and so we're not looking too bad. So this could try to go through this trend line. Um, it's not a trade that I would personally take. It's not one of my setups, but technically it looks like it could try to go for it. Good volume here late yesterday and even into today. Got a nice little pocket pivot right here on this green candle. And then AVAX, which yesterday had a very solid move up on very good volume. So let's look at the daily volume yesterday. Huge pocket pivot, biggest day it's had over here since mid-April. Yeah, about 3 months ago. Great day right there. It was a breakout day, and now we're consolidating nicely. So I think AVAX is one to keep an eye on as well. The small consolidation could be bought over the high of yesterday, 33.02. $33 even actually is the high of yesterday. My cursor was 33.02, and this looks pretty good. AVAX finally getting with us is a good sign. It tends to move later, but when it moves, it does seem to be somewhat consistent. It doesn't have the same tack to it that a late cycle mover would. This tends to move last, but when it moves, it tends to mean that the market's good in this uptrend. So we'll see long term how this actually does. But this looks great so far. I like the action in it. I'm glad it came up in our hot coins of the day today because this is a good one. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Best 5 minutes of your day here on Altcoin Buzz Trading, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.